It is the Journal's Vodcast, proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. All we do here is just talk sport. Bunch of journalists, teta over, a little bit of controversy here and there, but for the most part, when we do have a guest, we behave, I promise. And I'm delighted today that we're joined by Awande Malinga, squash sensation, double under-19 champion, right?
Yes.
Yes. But now you matriculated last year, so you're proper adults now.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
How have you been? How were the matric results and how's the matric dance? I mean, we saw those pictures on Instagram with that gorgeous black dress.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was lovely. I enjoyed last year just finishing off matric.
Yeah.
Passed well, and yeah, there's a lot to look forward in the future, so I'm quite excited. Yeah.
How tough was it for you to juggle matric the year and playing squash at the highest level? Because you were still competing.
Yeah. So you know what? With my parents, we told ourselves that I'm actually going to take school seriously and then actually put squash on the low.
Yeah.
So I made sure that my books were the first thing last year. So I actually couldn't go to the World Junior Championships and I was in line to going. So unfortunately I couldn't go, but I'm glad that I finished high school and now I have a lot of time to focus on my squash actually, yeah.
So before we get into the nitty-gritties of what you're doing now, squash is not a common sport. Yeah. It's worse for black girls, right? So how did squash come about with you?
You know, my dad actually introduced me to the sport, so he taught me how to play, and he started when he was like 30-something, so he started late, but for me, I started when I was 7, and he introduced me. Not many black girls play the sport, so...
In fact, you're the only black girl that I know in all honesty. I'm just going to say it.
Actually, yes. But yeah, I've enjoyed the sport, and I think I've done well for myself, and I've represented others as well quite well, I hope so. And yeah, I enjoy playing the sport, and I hope other girls can see that they can actually go quite far with the sport if they really put their time and effort into it. So yeah.
I just want to find out, you know, you've been coached by your dad. I mean, there's a very thin line there with, okay, am I talking to my father or am I talking to my coach? So how's that relationship going in that front?
You know, there's some rocky seas sometimes on the squash court, but we try to manage it well. Lately, we've actually brought people on board to actually help me and improve my squash, so we can actually have a good father and daughter relationship, and we've actually managed that quite well for the past 12 years. So he's helped me with technique and fitness and all that type of stuff. Now he wants me to venture into something more technical, you know, with other coaches that have more experience or similar experience but can teach me something different actually. So it's been nice to be coached by my dad, but yeah, I'm getting more experience with different coaches now as well. Yeah.
So I wonder, you know, the sport that you play requires a whole lot of strength and conditioning.
Yes.
So just take us through to actually what happens when you like training, you know, the physicality of the training, you know, how the strength overall, how is it?
So squash is actually the one sport in the world that has, you can lose a lot of calories within just an hour of playing. So there's a lot that goes into it because there's so many different movements that you have to actually play on the court. So it's technique, you know, balancing and all these type of movements that you have to perfect with your body, and cardio is one big part of it. So
you're saying that squash should be my friend because, you know, I'm working on the TV body, so clearly squash is where I need to go.
Exactly. I mean, anybody, any level, beginner, intermediate, advanced can play squash. So anybody can join into the sport. Yeah.
So how can we ensure that, Awande, you're not the only girl? Because, I mean, when we think of a sport like tennis, Khothatso Montjane is almost the only girl, right, that we can think of. And in squash, like I said, it's just you as well. So I want to find out from you, a person who's played, what can we do to ensure that there's more Awandes from a young age as well?
So I feel like you're just finding the nearest squash court that you can find, and then just meeting with people, networking and asking around like who can actually help you out in kind of doing individual coaching, getting group sessions as well. And luckily enough now I'm actually coaching, so it's quite interesting teaching other people, and I'm actually also a certified level 1 coach as well. So it's nice to teach people like what I've learned and then actually installing it into them as well. So yeah, anybody, if you need help with starting off with squash, find the nearest squash court, ask around like where are the nearest coaches and stuff like that, and then just do. Repetition is the most thing that you have to do. Yeah.
I also want to find out from you. I mean, I remember a couple of months ago I spoke to your dad on my show. I think we were talking about sports psychology. You know, Uti, you know, when it comes to sport, sport is not always about winning. You know, you also need to understand that there's a time where you need to draw, there's a time where you need to lose. You know, understand all the dynamics within the sport. How important has that been for you as well, making sure that you are level-headed, you know, understanding the sports, not always focus about winning, because I do know in your teen years, you know, everybody's focusing on winning, but not only just that, but being level-headed within the sport.
Yeah, my dad has taught me one big thing is going on court when in my younger years, where I have to kind of enjoy it first and then just play my best. It's not that I'm playing my opponent, I'm actually playing against myself and seeing what shots and what technical stuff I can do on the court. But besides that, I've also battled with myself, kind of having that belief that I can win, especially now that I've transitioned to the senior level. It's quite tough because now I have to mentally prepare myself to play hard matches against these girls in South Africa. And one big goal that I have for myself is to be #1. So if I can have that goal in mind, that I want to be #1, what are the steps that I can take to actually get there, then I don't think there's anyone that can hold me back from achieving that. Yeah.
And in your pursuit of coaching, when you coach the young ones and, you know, look at them, what's the hunger like? Do you look at them and think to yourself, okay, the next Awande Malinga is going to come out of these ones?
No, you can actually see that. You can see that with some of the kids. But mostly for them, I just tell them to enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously, because if you do that, you'll hate it. You wouldn't want to play squash anymore. So kind of enjoying it and having fun and playing with your friends is the most important thing that you have to do.
I know you're a few months in Awande, but how tough has the transition been from playing under school level and now you are professional? Even mentally, I can imagine that it is quite an intimidating moment to say that I've always had a system in high school. This is what we're doing. This is what these are the championships that we're facing. But now it's a whole new ball game.
It's a different ball game, because now you have to actually, I've been doing quite a lot of research on like how can I improve in my squash. So that means like training 2-3 times a day. My dad always tells me that you have to train hard and actually put your effort in, because if you don't, you won't see the fruits of your labor come true when you're playing in a professional squash tournament final. And recently I actually played in my first PSA professional final.
Yes, so the big ladies.
Yes, and that was my first time being in the final, so I was so excited, just seeing that training hard and putting so much effort into it has come true, and I was so close to the title, but you know, that's a goal that I can still achieve in the next few months.
But already, Jay, you came in the space and you're already showing that there's a new girl in town.
Yeah, and I started playing professionally when I was 16, so losing all these matches and not getting that much time to train because of school and having 6 hours to go to school and then only having like an hour a day to train. So now that I have plenty of time to put effort into the squash, I think my fruits of my labor are coming true.
Take us through the challenges, having to balance both academics as well as you know, sport. I mean, you rightfully said that in your metric you had to, you know, put, you know, sport on hold so that you can focus on that. But when you got into the sport, having to balance the two, how challenging was it?
Quite challenging, I must say, because when, for example, on the weekends when I had to play tournaments, so it would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would actually have to study in between matches, and that's not the ideal way to study because your mind is all over the place. So it was quite tough, but I think with all the efforts that I put through, the first thing that my parents always told me is that I had to focus first on academics and then sport will come second. Yeah.
Are there any players internationally that you've been eyeing, just as maybe as a role model, but also as players that, you know what, when I get one day, it's you and I on the court?
Yeah, actually, there's this one girl, she's 16 years old, and she's in the top 15 in the world.
Wow.
She's from
Where's she
Egypt.
from? Yeah, Egypt.
Mina Ofi, if I can name her. She's amazing. I mean, she's one girl that I think all the other girls would love to be someone like her and be playing against top 10 ladies in the world, even top 5. And beating these girls is one thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I look up to her actually, even though she's younger than me. And no Al Shabini. I know you guys wouldn't know these girls, but I look up to them.
But you're putting them on
Yeah.
the right? Because now we know about
Yes,
them.
and so one thing I love about these girls is that they're all from Egypt, but they have such hunger and such tenacity to always do well and beat everybody that they come across.
Yeah.
So I look up to those girls.
I wonder, it's Mother's Day on Sunday, and I know your mom is also frontline along with your dad.
Yeah.
What would you say in honor of your mom ahead of Mother's Day?
You know, actually, this Sunday I've prepared something for her, just to show how much appreciation I have for her. Also, since I won't be here for the next couple of Mother's Days with her, so I really wanted to make this one quite special for her. She's been there with me through everything. She's helped me. She might be behind the scenes and stuff, but she's really someone that has supported me, shown effort to love me and help throughout everything that I have to do. So I love you, Mom. And yeah.
We love you so much, Mommy, and thank you so much for bringing us a champion. I mean, I know there's 16-year-old Egyptian girl, but listen, when I get in Egypt, Awande Malinga is coming for you. Awande, thank you so much for joining us on the Journals Vodcast, and good luck. I know you're traveling to the USA alone, Mommy. I know you're scared, but you know what? She's been doing this alone, and she will be safe. That is Awande Malinga, under-19 champion 2 times, Kalok, not just once, 2 times. Get it right. When we come back, the beautiful game, we always have to chat football, right?